Hey again, it's Gray here. We're going through the book of Psalms. Today we are in chapter 6. And here it starts out. It says, "O Lord, don't rebuke me in your anger or discipline me in your rage." David's crying out to God. And he's crying out to God because God is disciplining him for something that he's done. Because he says in verse 3, it says, "How long, O Lord, until you restore me?" So he clearly knows he's messed up. And because he's messed up, God is put him in a place or something has happened as a result of what he's done. Now, you and me, if we're being honest, we've been there before. We've done something silly, something bad happens as a consequence. Cause and effects. That happens. But here's a lesson to be learned here. There's two. Number one is we always run to God. Whatever the situation, whatever things would happen, even when you know that this is God punishing us. Because he always wants us to look to him. He always wants us to seek his face at all times and in all places. Number two, I want to highlight the language that David is using here. Verse 2, he says, "For I am weak." Heal me, Lord, for my bones are in agony. He says, "I am sick at the heart." Telling a person who is sick not to truly say what they feel is wrong, because there have been people that says, when you're sick, when people ask you, you have to say, "I am well," because you're speaking positive, you're speaking faith. When you start truly telling them, when you start truly saying how you feel, it's like you're not speaking by faith. I think that's not, I don't think I know that's totally wrong, because I know how people feel when they do that. So whatever you're going through, open your heart out and tell it to God. I mean, look at the book of Job. He was going through a lot of torment, but he opened up his heart. And every time he was speaking, he was not speaking to his friends, he was talking to God. He says, "God, how can you leave me in this? How can you let my I can't remember his words, but he basically was complaining to God at all times. And when God came into the scene, he never rebuked Job for that. He rebuked his friends. What I'm trying to say is, at all times and in all places, it doesn't matter how we feel, we talk to God and we tell him exactly how we feel. And that's what David is doing here. But here's the thing. When we cry out to God, when we reach out to God and tell him, or when we're crying and we're complaining, we always have to come to a place where David came in verse 9. This is what he says. No, actually, from verse 8, I'll start from verse 8. "Go away, all you who do evil, for the Lord has heard my weeping. The Lord has heard my plea. The Lord will answer my prayer." Cry out to God. Wet your bed, do what you need to do. But you always come to a place where you resolve and says, "God has heard my prayer." Jesus said, Jesus said that, you know what? When we ask, we should not doubt. Then we'll receive. I just want to encourage you in this. Number one, that, when it's time to cry out to God, let's do it with all our heart. Let's pour everything to God. But when we do, let's not continue with the pity party. But we rise up, we cleanse ourselves and have faith in God and trust that God hears our prayers and he will always come through, because he has promised he always will. Like David, cry out to God, tell him exactly how you feel, but you rise up and say, "Go away, all who you do evil." So you can go away, you disease, because the Lord has heard my prayer. The Lord has heard my plea, and the Lord will answer my prayer. My prayer for you today is that it will be like that. In whatever you're going through, you be truly honest to God. Whatever the situations, whatever the cause of it, you leave it all before the throne. But you rise up from that confident in the fact that God has heard your prayer. God bless you.